Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new Nvidia daily update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over Nvidia, let's go over the market, let's go over what has happened today in the markets. Obviously things happen today. I don't want to get into politics or, anything like that, but unfortunate things happen regardless of, anyways. Let's get into the video. Let's get into the start charts. Let's talk about it, right? So what's happening with NVIDIA, what we can expect moving forward, and all that stuff. If you enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice, and I'm not a financial advisor. And of course, if you enjoy my technical analysis, thoughts in the charts, etc., well, again, I do share my thoughts with my members every single day on my YouTube membership. That link is down below for just $3 a month. Includes all my Tesla updates, options flow, technical analysis, and of course, options flow and broader market, really, I should say as well. And on top of that, if you're interested for more than that, of course, $5 USD a month includes NVIDIA in that pool as well. $7 USD a month instead for the tier 3 includes all of that, plus non-Tesla, non-NVIDIA, and essentially non-broader market stocks. Pretty much anything in the market that I find that's worth sharing, that's, has a chart that's setting up potentially nicely. I share that with my members. And on top of that, you also get access to the Discord with, we have tier 3 member chat rooms. People talk all the time about their trades and stuff like that. So again, all that is below, guys. We'd love to have you there. But yeah, jumping into NVIDIA, closing the day with a nice 4% on the day. I mentioned to my members yesterday how, with the candle closure like this, especially above 170, it's looking pretty good, right? And NVIDIA definitely following up very nicely off of its own news. And on top of that, off of, I believe, Oracle's earnings, which was quite something. Let's just say that. So what does this actually mean, moving forward for NVIDIA? Are the bulls back, or is this just another dead cat, right? Well, I'm not going to lie. It's a bit complicated. It is a little bit complicated, right? Now, I said, and I was telling my members this the whole time when we were down here, how, it is technically a concern that we're obviously rejecting these levels, but I really wouldn't be shocked, and I would not put it past the bulls to reclaim this range and actually get a pop back up, because the stock, it did fall pretty substantially, pretty aggressively. You can even argue it was a very steep sort of kind of, falling wedge type pattern as well. And that's exactly what we're seeing right here, right now. So moving forward though, right, what can we expect? So the first and foremost, the main levels to watch out for, absolutely without question, is going to be support around 174-ish. That's where the EMAs are sitting. That's where previous resistance, support, and now support here, and now support here potentially as well, coming down. If we come down to retest that 174 roughly, that's the first level to watch for in terms of just support. Below that, of course, we have about 171, 170/169. Those are the main three levels to the downside, but the main ones for sure are about 174 roughly to about that 169, 170. On the flip side, the main resistance level, 181 to 180. That's by far the main one. That's where the green fibs are sitting. Now, I do have to bring out the fibs. I know these are a little bit maybe traumatizing to some people right now based on what happened up here, right around here, right? Remember how this happened, right? We fell, we made lower lows, we rode it back up, and then everyone started getting bullish here, but instead it was just a green fib rejection. It was essentially a dead cat rally, and then we obviously went down even further. The question, of course, is this just another dead cat? And there is absolutely still potential of it. Why? We're still in a lower low, lower high downtrend, right? Ever since this moved to the downside, this was the first lower low we set. This was essentially a lower high. This was a lower low, and this could just be another lower high, right? And we just continue this chain of events essentially until proven otherwise. So what do the bulls need to do, right? Let's talk about both perspectives. What do the bulls need to do to actually truly reclaim the stock? Because this movement is good, don't get me wrong, but it's not enough to convince me that it's truly bullish again. This is just a kind of, again, a dead cat. Essentially, the stock was too oversold too quickly, and now we're essentially reverting kind of more or less to the mean and getting a nice little pop back up, because you can't just go straight down, especially on a big stock like Nvidia, at least not usually. So again, for the bulls, what do they need to do to truly reclaim the stock back in their favor? Like, not just make this potentially a dead cat. The first step by far, for sure, without question, is about 180 to 181. Honestly, 181 really. You need to reclaim 181. You need to get past these green Fibonacci's, the exact same thing they could not do here, and start closing daily candles above them. That's step number one. The step number two, unfortunately, requires a bit more of a higher movement, right? But, because it is what it is. But step number two actually is going to be essentially to pretty much reclaim all-time highs, about 4.5% higher than here. If Nvidia and the bulls can reclaim Nvidia and essentially break these highs over here and set fresh highs, that essentially breaks this chain of events of lower lows, lower highs, and that obviously would be bullish. So that's going to be the bigger step, if you will, for bulls to essentially overcome, we'll say, for us to, essentially head higher, right? Ultimately. So that's kind of be, what I'm mainly looking for right now on Nvidia, right? That's the main sort of steps I'm eyeballing right now. Those are the main, things I'm watching for right now. But, there is a very real chance this is just another dead cat bounce, and then we ended up, rejecting around 181, we'll say roughly, at the, green Fibonacci. So absolutely want to make sure your eyes are watching for that. And, again, it's just, it is what it is, right? Again, just to make it, very obvious, people said that this, bounce down here up to these green fibs was not a dead cat, right? Everyone said that here, and it was a dead cat. We did make lower lows. We did fall lower. And, despite us heading higher on, for instance, this candle here post earnings, we still couldn't close above it, right? And that's why I said closing is really important. We need to close above these levels. Well, not that specific level, obviously, if we go from here to here roughly, but again, the idea is similar. We got pretty close to it today. We got pretty close. So there is a chance that's all she wrote, but I wouldn't be surprised if Nvidia gets a bit closer. It likes to get pretty close. It likes to bait people in. It's very good at it too. So again, overall, what I'm saying right now is as long as 174 is turned into support and not broken, I actually wouldn't be surprised if we end up getting a stronger retest of about 180, 181 zone, maybe make a small little flaggy pattern over here right into that support and then head higher. Very real possibility. So, but all in all, essentially, regardless of what happens here, I would expect 174 to act as support. And I, again, would not be surprised to see a closer retest here. Again, like I said, though, if we break these highs, then that's obviously very bullish. The stock should be back into, more bullish control. But until we see something like that, I unfortunately, kind of like here, have to view this as a potential risk of a dead cat bounce, right? It is what it is. This could just be another lower high. It is what it is, guys. It is what it is. So let's continue monitoring. Let's continue watching. Let's see how CPI comes in tomorrow. Next week could be a pretty spicy week as well, where we have triple witching, I believe, next week as well. And I think we should be getting rate cut decisions next week. That's a pretty big question mark. Do we get no cuts? Do we get 25, 50 basis points? Nobody knows, right? Nobody knows for sure. I think 25 is what the market's expecting right now. I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But it's just, it's worth mentioning, right? That is going to be something, we better watch out for, guys. That's going to be important. Next week could be a spicy one, pretty volatile. The VIX could get a spike next week. So let's watch for that, guys. In terms of options flow, the bulls absolutely coming in pretty aggressively today, right? 61 million confirmed bullish flow, only 20 million confirmed bearish flow. And overall, you can see a lot more green than red, but there are some unusual bearish flow that came in. For instance, for expiring this week, 170 put came in on Nvidia over here, $225,000. Pretty aggressive, pretty out of the money as well. This was bought when Nvidia was at 177 pretty much, not too far up from where it is right now. So, that's unusual. You can see it's marked as highly unusual because it's aggressive, it's short term, and it's out of the money, and it's a decent amount of money, right? So it's pretty unusual. But with that being said, I would say overall the bulls definitely in control for the most of the flow today, right? Definitely more bullish than bearish flow. But keep your eyes peeled on this potentially concerning bearish flow. Could just be a hedge. You never know. Could just be a simple hedge to CPI, right? You never really know for sure with these things, right? But hey, something worth watching. Let's see how this goes, guys. Let's see how this goes. So what else is there? Market. Let's talk about the broader market very, very quickly. The MAGs ETF did print arguably a bearish engulfing candle today that we'll see if that becomes a bit of a problem or not. But the Qs are holding up pretty nicely. The main level for the Qs to watch for is about, again, if we get any sell-off post-CPI, I would absolutely be watching for about 576, 575, which if that were to happen, most likely means Nvidia comes down to about 174, at which point I would expect both of them, the SPY and the Qs, to actually probably find support. I would expect support to come down around here, right at the EMAs, right at major support, and that's where I would expect the stock market to stabilize post-CPI if we get a drop post-CPI. So watch for those levels. If we start losing the mid 570s and we start, crumbling below that, that could be a concern. We could get a bit of a sharper move to the downside. First level being this gap over here around 565 to 560 being the lower end of that range, if you will. And of course, if we lose 560 though, that would be concerning. That would be arguably kind of bearish. And, that would absolutely open up the gateway for a stronger retest of previous all-time highs closer to 540, give or take, across the market and the Qs. And that's kind of the way I'll be looking at it moving forward on the Qs on Nvidia. And yeah, so let's see how this goes. Let's see how CPI comes in tomorrow. Is it bullish? Is it bearish, etc.? Let's see. But all in all, thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Peace.